from round two. I will be having Timmy Woko and Betty on stream today.
All right, Woko Timmy is going first, and on his rack we have PORNOID. For anyone just joining, this is the second game of the last chance qualifiers. This is a tournament where the players who could not meet the quota to represent their countries can slug it out together for a spot in the main event. Doko wastes no time and is playing POIND for 22 points. All right, Betty going next. We'll see Iraq in a bit. By the way, these players won their first game, and I'm sure they are geared up to go head to head in this matchup. Woko is from Nigeria, and Betty is a player representing Ghana. All right, I think we had an exchange, and Woko Timmy finds the first bingo of the game, Eta Aerial, a very beautiful find. This is one of the vowel heavy bingos, and I'm sure he has done his due diligence on studying this road. And here we have him playing Eta Aerial for 69 points. I know this is a very beautiful play because it's a parallel play to the first move, POIND, forming OEITNA and DE. Meanwhile, we see the first blank of the game on Betty's rack. She has JUNTRN blank. I'm sure the chances of a bingo on this turn are extremely slim, so she just want to lay out her J, keep the blank, and come back in her next move with a lovely bingo. So how can she go about that? One of the moves the analysis here is suggested is JORUM through the O of Etairi. However, this can be a scary move because your opponent can play down the J to the triple and score heavily. But what option does she have though? And as you can see, she's going for the move regardless. I'm just hoping she can pick very good tiles and come back with a bingo. All right, we have B, I believe we have WEIGH, B, and another W. Oh, two W's in your rack is not something you want to see. But you can keep things simple. Play HEW beneath Jerome for 31 points. Or even go fanciful and play EWW. These are one of the newly added words in our dictionary. But he opts for HEW, keeping BGIW. Not the best of leaves for score your 31 points, hope for the best. And I believe Betsy has picked styles that would give her a bingo on the spot if she spots moves like Spinet, Cocaine, HEWN, that scores 88 solid points. But simple was like opponents on spends, 10 things are available. she could also play penitence through the IT in the middle of the board. But keeping things simple, Spinet's opponent seems to be top choices. You can see she has arranged on Spence on her rack, probably hoping to hook him. I'm sure she'd want to take her time, and she has weighed her options and says, okay, she's going to play on Spence for 74 points. Now, obviously, it would be quite surprising if either of the players tries to hook on Spence with an S. That would be that would be quite the sight. So I don't expect any of these players would incorrectly hook on Spence with an S. So that lane remains blocked for now. So she has played the move, and on Woko's rack we see CWIGBUO. Alright, he has quite a number of options. Luckily, the unspent move has granted him an opportunity to play a 39-point play. It's a simple play of Owen leaving BCU on his rack. Seems pretty solid here. That's exactly what he does. Alright, we're yet to see Betty's rack. I think she's still arranging her tiles. Alright. Ooh, not the best post bingo draw, but I'm sure she'll be able to find a way out of this. She has two O's, I believe, two A's, two O's, two A's, and NTU. All right. Uh, top choice, which I'm sure she's going to play, is a move down the J in Europe. She has Jonto there, Jotun, Jonta, Jaunt. Any of those moves seem quite okay. The only difference is you have to decide if you want to keep two A's or two O's on your rap. So if you go for Jonto, you're leaving AAO. Or if you go for a move like JAUNT, you're leaving AOO. I think ideally you would want to keeping duplicated A's is slightly better than duplicated O's. So I think either Jonto or Jotun would be a move here. But she opts for Jonta either ways, and it's still pretty solid. I mean, OO can be have some synergy depending on the tiles you pick. So Jonta comes down for 39 points. The scores are Timmy's 161 to Betty's 141. It is his turn now, and you can see this is quite a fast player. He's playing CURB from Iraq or CURBBD. He could have played, bro. I believe this is a new word too. Yes, yes. I believe this is a new word too. Could have played BURB almost in the same spot, hooking UP and POE. Leaving CED, which is a very strong lead. But he plays CURB, leaving DEB, which I mean, with the A, with the T, there are a lot of potential with that rack lead. So he scores 23, increases his lead a bit further, and you can see Betty pull the last or second blank of the game. BOOARE blank, and I'm sure she's looking to play a bingo to a floating consonant. Since Iraq is vowel heavy, what Scrabble players do is you scan the board for consonants you can play through because you're most likely to have a bingo there. And that's exactly what is playing out here. You can see I arranged arrow bots already. She has clocked that the T is a floater, and I'm sure she would waste no time playing a robot here for a solid 80 points. The B on the triple letter score is exactly what she wants for this move. In the same spot, you can play barefoot, but floating the B out in the triple lane is a bit unnecessary. So, sure she's taking her time, making sure she's not missing anything else. The N looks pretty promising too. All right, joining me on stream now is Saki Coin Solar. All right, it seems we're experiencing some difficulties right now, and I'm sure soon Coin Solar will be able to join us. Meanwhile, she could not commit the aerobot move. I'm sure she saw it and was probably doubting if the move is valid. So she opts for OBO, which leaves a fantastic tile of ARE blank. All right, we've seen Timmy play Volva quickly. This has greatly obstructed the A and T floaters that were available previously. And now we see TARE blank, and she's playing retainer through the N in Junta for 66 points. With this move, she's now on 224 to Timmy's 199. All right, we have ILEDRAD on Timmy's rack. This looks very bingo friendly. It's one of those combinations that with the right floater you could play certain bingos. But currently, there are none available for Woko. Now, the computer is suggesting just plunking down the D somewhere, leaving RAILED, which can be very flexible, and there are a lot of combinations with any random tile you pick to put down a bingo on this board. But, I mean, as a player who is from Nigeria, I promise you, dropping ones out to balance and all that is not exactly most Nigerian players' style, especially someone in the Masters category. Fine, DH might be a top card move, but I probably doubt that's what he's going to play on this card. I'm sure he's going to take his time, probably look through the E in retainer and check through if he's not missing any bingo. In some cases, too, the I or G or W could be a floater, but in this case, even the O could be a floater. But in this case, there are no bingos available, and just has to decide what he's going to do here. Is he just going to long down a word like DUH for 7, or he's going to pick up a few more points, play DID on top of retainer. Blocking his floater is fine, but he's scoring 21 points and almost tallying the scores with the Betty. And he could even extend it further, play rigid in the same spot for 27 points, leaving AL. So he has opted for that, which leaves LIRE, scores 21 points, and is only 4 points away from Betty. Betty has picked the Q and two S's with some other tiles. These are not, you know, exactly great styles to have. When you have the Q, you would hope to have the U along with it, but there are no U's left to even pick in this game.
Five, 45.
All right, she has found a very lovely move of playing QUA for 45. That move does exactly everything she wants. Retains her S's, plays up the Q for very tangible score, and she's hoping to pick better tiles in her next turn. Meanwhile, we see Timmy play E, okay, HENS, close to the spot. Um, Betty just played that. All right. I just got info from the technical team that Coin Solar would be unable to join me in the commentary right now. But here with me, I have Okpeyemi, popularly known as Piper. If you followed the channel yesterday, we both ran the commentary for the early bird, and I promise you it was a very interesting one. So say hi to the viewers, please.
Hello guys, nice to join you once again.
All right. So what do you think about the game so far?
I'm following the game. I think Messi is trying hard to really keep up and see some moves from both players. And I'd like to see how this goes.
Yes. On Betty's turn right now, she has VFEGSSTK. I'm sure she was hoping to pick more vowels with that, but still she could play KEFS, hooking ROES for 25 points, keeping GST. What do you think about that play?
I think it's a pretty solid one. She doesn't really have much to do yet, considering our rack. It's just one barrel, but at this point, she could let go of one of the S's and just pick it.
Yeah. As you can see, she's a bit close to what we're talking about. She has arranged KEGS on her rack. I'm sure she's hoping to hook rows because there's nowhere else you can actually hook uh, flunk down that S currently that scores quite well. So she's thinking along that line, hoping to play KX, keeping
So,
FST.
yeah, but Kers would score more, about 2 points more.
But there are certain players that just absolutely hate having G on their racks. I can mention a couple of players who would gladly choose the Kegs move over the
Over the
Kegs
Kers.
just because of a personal vendetta against the G.
Yeah. Well, personally, I might have picked Kers. For some reason, I prefer the G in my head than the S. You know, so individual preference.
True. And you see, she steers us off completely and opts for pegs,
Big,
pegs,
interesting.
keeping KST. K is one of those styles that you can use to score very well on an open board or in certain boards. So keeping STK
Exactly.
is very good here. And we see DXILRIG. on Timmy's rap. I think he's a very speedy player. He's wasting no time playing dig on top of that for 22 points.
Yeah,
Hit.
Woko is definitely fast. Because
Mhm.
looking at the time, I can see it's barely 17 minutes and 30 years. So, yeah, dread playing things because they won't even give you enough time to think.
True.
So,
I mean, Betty has barely arranged character and he has played his move, recorded his style, his scores, and all.
exactly.
All right, so we see Betty having tiles. I'm sure she's happy to see Moatnks. Finally, she's having some vowels that she was hoping for in the previous move. But currently, she doesn't seem to have a lot of options. Kwakul is suggesting a move that I don't think anyone is going to play because okay, so the move is KON over the dig that
Mm.
Timmy just played, but the thing about it, it sets up an I because there's IKON.
Oh,
And
yes.
if you look at the unseen tiles, there are one, two, three, four, five, six eyes unseen. She doesn't even have any, so there's a very high chance that our opponent has it. So KON find like score 25 leaves the MAST, which is
And Woko
nice
has the
for
high, actually.
exactly. So I don't think she's going to take KON, but she's going to take her time, scan through the ball, look for points. But unfortunately, I don't think she can even score 30. Still, she just has to make up her mind on what she wants to play, the how she wants to leave, and just have and keep scheming. Meanwhile, the X on Timmy's rack, I mean, everyone loves to see it out like the X, the Z, the J. But on this board, there is actually not a lot of options for that X. I'm sure it's still open, maybe Betty is going to play something and then he has
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity to cash in on the X. I'm sure he's just playing the long game currently, but still the ball is, becoming shaped up. It's not as open as it was before. The
Yeah.
curve move just completely deadens the left hand side of that ball, and with the fake move now, I mean, if the only floater there is probably the F. So you can see Betty taking her time. This is a crucial turn. She's leading fine, but what score can she squeeze out from this blocked board? You can see she's separating the K, maybe hoping to just plonk the K somewhere. I can't quite see where she plans to do that.
Yeah, she will have to take her time.
Okay, so we see her arranging K80 now in the same spot above PIG, but we all know the downside to that is it
Six
takes I
and
and
S.
S. So would she wants to do that? Looking at the unseen tiles, as I said before, there are six eyes unseen and there is still one S unseen. So she ready
She
to
has
take
the
that
S
risk.
and Woko has the high. So
Yes.
I want to see what would happen if she decides to do that.
25.
Wow. Okay. She does go for the move, hoping it probably doesn't have the I or the S. But let's see.
I think we might see Axel coming. We might see high coming down so that that's probably looking at her Woko's round.
True, true, true.
Axel might be coming down pretty quickly.
I'm sure is a player, so is aware of the book and is going
Yeah, the
to
high rook.
yeah, so he's going to play there. He could also play what like ORIXA.
Actually,
Yeah,
that's cause more.
yes. I think this is one of my favorite words in Scrabble because it's derived from the Yoruba land. For those unaware, yes, There are Euro gods,
Daisy.
yes, deity. So,
Okay, I think
but
Axel came down.
yes, yes, for 41 points, leaving LOR, which is still a fantastic move. Now the board is open because you see that A in Axel leaves a very easy seven-letter spot for bingos.
Yeah,
I doubt Betty has any currently. She has EYEMONS.
yes,
Her top choice currently would be to play Gemoni through the G in pegs. That would be the Y6 and the double letter score, and the all points are doubled, scoring 32 points and leaving ES. I'm sure Scrabble players know ES is a
very
very good
good
lead, yes. And the
indeed.
tiles in the bag are, looking good. Some C's, I's, L. We'll find it. It might look a bit vowel heavy, but I'm sure with the right push, bingo next door.
Yeah, and she has to be, she has to tread carefully right now. I mean, they're on the same score, and I think we might see Germany uh, coming down. I see Germany already.
Yeah, she's arranging something close, but that's not quite it. It's only one E,
Mm.
and even this word won't fit anyway. So I'm sure she's probably thinking of it as she's saying something like Gemoni before, but she just needs to
Yeah,
remember that it's only one E there.
it does happen.
Yeah. I know if she doesn't see that, she could still play Yeoman through the E in pegs. That scores 30 points, still leaves the ES. All right, it seems she misses that and goes for
Yeah,
Young.
that scores significantly less for just 20 points. So
Yeah.
just need two EMS.
Yes, and the lane is still open for a seven-letter bingo. All right, we see on Timmy's rack now he has
So,
AEOLRAZ. He has picked this, and I think for this game the Z would be very important because if either of the players are unable to play a bingo, you can at least score
definitely.
50, 40 with the Z. So I think the odds might slightly be in his favor right now, although we do remember that Betty kept bingo friendly time. So let's see what happens here. Right now, he has 48 points. I played before, but it is a scary, scary play. He could play REZ behind pegs.
Bed.
Yeah, that scores 48 points. But what's the issue there is you're putting R very easily to the triple A. So if it were you, would you still go for the res in this stage of the game?
I don't think I'll go for the best. I mean, considering we're quite close going neck to neck, and if I open that triple play, Betty comes through with 9 pointer, that would be
So,
unfortunately. So you might see that coming through because I see the Z already in
yes.
that spot.
And the thing is, Betty's rack is very close to a bingo to the R,
Exactly.
but she would not be having a bingo to that R. Although she might, yes, she's definitely going to play somewhere else on the board. But let's see. He plays res for 48 points. That takes his lead to about almost 30 points. And let's see SCSTINE on Betty's rack. But unfortunately, none of the bingos because he has Saitains and
16.
Sestine,
Yeah.
but it can't fit right now. But I'm sure she's a bit pained about that. She's going to take her
Mm-hmm.
time and look through the R very extensively and make sure she's not missing a bingo. But
I think Coco made a very interesting but risky move,
yeah, yeah.
because Betty has very bingo friendly tiles, even bingo tiles, but then she just can't.
I'm sure we'll just help them to scoring is highest. If she has the bingo fine, she has it. If she doesn't have it, I'm going to score my 48 and run.
Um,
Yeah. So what can Betty do on this turn? I mean, she has two S's. I'm sure she's going to play one of the S. But what she has to consider is that R is most likely going to get blocked next turn. And the moment um, Woko plays a six-letter word through that R, the board becomes a bit blocked. Because by that move, you're only going to have two floaters. There are no more spaces for a seven-letter word to fit on the board. So she's going to think about that and see, okay, can I open somewhere else on the board to bingo for? I think this is going to be a very crucial move for her.
Yeah. I think she's counting the thousand. She's trying to really make sure she's not missing any bingo and
So,
probably making the best move at this point because it's very important. So right now we see Woko is taking the lead. We're about almost 20. We're about
and you also have to remember that Woko is putting some time pressure on
on
her.
her
Yes, she has
exactly.
less than 5 minutes left, and there are still, 6 stars left of the bag. So there's still some games to be played. Although yes, we're entering into the end game, and trust me, when you're in the end game, you need as much time as you can get. Yes, she has to quickly make a decision and just see what the tower gods have to offer. One of our top choices, although this is not a deep analysis skill, but if she just wants to score some points, the SEI parallel to FEGS, that holds EFS, ZEE, and GI for 24 points. It leaves ENST, you're still hoping to bingo to the R, but bingo is straight 7 next to the young, and you're still
But
scoring
I think
24
if she
points.
just play that, we will definitely see something coming from Woko, blocking that triple A. I mean, who
Yeah,
would want to lose that
true,
game?
true.
So
Other options are something like ZEINS for 28 points, leaving EEST. I think one thing you have to be careful of is looking at the unsent house from our POV. There are a lot or a number of vowels unseen. There are two A's, three I's, one E, and two O's unseen. So she has to be a bit worried about what she's going to draw after she plays. All right, we see her finally making a decision. She's playing Tensai. She's probably just
tense right now.
yeah,
I see
true,
her
true,
doing
true,
that.
true. She's also played 21 points. The downside is one, you're blocking most of the bingo lanes, and even this move still doesn't equalize to what Timmy has. She's still trailing considerably. So, but let's see, she retains the IS. Who knows, she could, play something high scoring later on.
Or even through the team, maybe I know it's like
Through the T and E are floaters currently.
yeah, possibly. So,
I we see Woko having a bit of vowel troubles. He has Laeioo.
yeah,
Oh, and okay, two
two
L's.
else, yeah.
Yeah. Right now is okay. So when you have rats like this, there are certain vowel heavy files that jumps out to you, and one of them is LOOIE. This is a word that most Scrabble players instantly play whenever they have rats similar to this. So LOIE plays next to Yum for 19 points. He takes his lead further, it obstructs the T, but he has to take his time. There's no rush here.
Exactly.
From
That's
his perspective, the E is still floating, so he has to think if there are any combination of tiles that Betty could have that would grant her a bingo through that E, and catching on area, losing him the game eventually. But from his perspective, there's only one tile left in the bag, and we know the tile is I. So what Betty has is FACISIY, which I sincerely doubt jingles on this board. So I think after a move like Louis, he should be pretty close to winning this game. But still, Louis is a scary move because Louis takes the back hook F. And if you're watching the stream and you're following, Louis plays just one tile below the world score. But still, if you play Louis for 19, you have to consider, okay, is there what was the highest you can score, even if she does with the Louis, and can I go out to the next one? So I think there's just a lot to consider here. But with the look of things, I think
I think goalie would also be a nice
mhm, through the G in Vex,
Yeah.
scoring 16 and leaving AL. And as we said, from his POV, you shouldn't really worry too much about like an outfielder from the T or the 7 8 award. So
B45.
yeah, Gully is another option you could consider.
Three
Even just play the same LOOIE,
B55 to
looking
B50.
YE. It scores 4 points less than before, but it does everything it wants. All right, he has 30 minutes on the clock. There is no need to rush. He has to, check the scores, track the tiles, and make sure he's not making any mistake.
Think good player.
So, do you think there are, maybe any scenario where Betty can clinch the win for this game? Like if Timmy still makes his, top choices, perhaps his setup because she has the last S, she has wide and score
Mhm. I think
some points.
considering their both the if Roko is versus or and except he does play his really right on top, so he will change the wide of the job instead of playing it to the AM or AM. So if he plays it like that, I think the chance of our playing fully will be possible. He won't really be giving much score.
The major things Timmy is worried about is, okay, first, could she bingo out? And as we said, from the tiles, it's very unlikely. Still, though, there are scoring options on the board sheet. There's the Y on sin, and beneath the N in terms is a triple word score or triple letter score rather. So if you put the Y there and play a 5 letter word, it's going to score in the 50s or 40s. So maybe that's something you would need to analyze and see, okay, does she have any really scary play there? And the triple is still in fact open, although you would need a 6 letter word to score there, but you still have to think, okay, maybe she has like partial or something like that that would play there and score 40 plus. But with deep analysis now, because here we're analyzing the game with Paco, which is for those that play chess, is similar to like Stockfish. It analyzes the game, looks at the best plays, and gives like a win percentage. Currently, if Woko just plays something like Lotto, we have to look below the board here. The TO in unspent, if you just extend that, the LOTO, or also from MEL and WO, this scores 23 points, probably the highest point they can score on this tour. And that gives them a solid 87% win chance in this game. So at this point, the commentator is just suggesting go for your highest score, and there isn't much that Betty can do about it. And I have a feeling he may, although it's hard to tell, but looking at the arrangement of the drag, he has LAEOI and he has LO separate. So who knows, maybe he's considering the LOTO. All right, for anyone that is joining, this is the second game of the last chance qualifiers. There are 46 players playing currently, and the top 10 are going to qualify to play in the main event starting tomorrow. In this field, we have top players in the person of Hakim Olaridigbe, Oloro Pemi, Sam from USA. These are one of the highest rated players in this field currently. And we have five Kenyans playing in this competition. There are six Liberians playing right now, three Zambians, 10 Nigerians, and 21 Ghanaians playing, and one American. So I'm sure people from their countries are rooting for them, hoping that a number of these people make it to the main event starting tomorrow. They have only 8 games to decide the top 10 for today.
This is the second round.
Yes.
So 6 more games to go. Alright, see what is still with you. Seven, eight, I think that's one of the benefits of playing fast because I mean he has spent for this round he
Mm.
has spent well over 7 minutes and still have a minute and still have about 8 minutes. So yeah.
And I'm curious to know what Betty is thinking right now because I'm sure she has to have a move ready almost immediately. Timmy plays. One of the options that would be available for her if it were to be at home would be something like Gasify for 34 points. Timmy spots that trade. I'm sure it'd be a bit worried that okay, 35 or 34 points for Betty at this stage might be a bit scary. But all he needs to do right now is just extend his lead. Lotto for 23 points, taking to 385, and from there you can still score in other spots on the board. There is also the obvious FY beneath Tensor for Betty to.
34 points.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure Betty might be feeling a bit confident that okay, as long as Timmy doesn't score as much, I know she can plug down the 34 points, leaving CAIIS, then maybe she can still score another 30 or 20 and win this game. So hoping she has spotted both options, Gasify or FY, or even something like FAY next to Young for 27 points. And I'm sure she would have no problem spotting these moves as soon as Woko plays. For the dilemma now for Woko is he himself sees these moves, saying, okay, what if she plays the FY for 34? What if she plays the Gasify for 34? What's going to be my reply? So the bulk of the work right now falls on Timmy to assess the situation, assess the board, and make sure it doesn't lose this game to any flimsy mistake.
I think the considering all options the strength. Okay, I see you making a
Ooh. So he wants to play Louis. I'm sure he's aware of Louis and Louis, and the F is on sin currently. This might make things very very interesting if he commits this move. Fine, it scores 19, leaves AL, and you're hoping to play out in your next move since there's only one tile left in the bag.
yeah.
But the Louis might be a bit worrisome.
So his chances of winning.
Yeah, the thing is, with computer analysis, if it does play this move and there is nothing with perfect play from both ends, team is still wins. But even at that, you still have to be a bit worried about it. But his only saving grace is there's the eye in the bag, and he's most likely going to play out in the next turn. So he just commits the move, and the scores are 381 to Betis 355. The Gasify is still available, and now she has FAY, yes, for 36 points. But unfortunately, that will not be enough to win this game. Yes, she's
I
good.
think he probably thought that through and maybe he
True.
made all the mental calculation and
I think what he was just banking on is as long as it hits a tile that allows him to finish next turn,
yes.
then he's certainly going to win, which is exactly what plays out here. So if Betty does play FAY on top of Louis, she's going to be leading with 10 points. But with AIL on Timmy's rack, you can easily play GLIA or GILA to finish the game.
But if she does play classified,
Okay, blocking that spot
that's what
through.
may not be able to. Okay, you might be able to just right below 10 star.
Yeah, yeah. There's still TALIA available for him for 12 points, and if she plays Gasify, it gives him ALIL for 14 points.
So
So,
either way, it's
yes,
going
definitely
to.
going to finish. I'm curious if he played LA and picked I. What if he picked something like C? I'm guessing since it's just 3 then
34.
he was really hoping, oh, the board is
Oh,
open enough for him to
interesting. Betty
finish.
is going for FY instead.
So, guessing she's not saying the Louis
With
Hoop.
Louis Vuitton.
True, true, true. I think that's one of the issues of time pressure too. If she had enough time to like think things through, she would
Exactly.
realize, oh, I could play flu and score a bit more.
Maybe committed FY for
And this was an easy outplay for us. And the interesting thing is, even if it doesn't play out, it's still going to win this game. It plays like Zell, GI. I mean, it's definitely going to keep things simple and just play out
players.
the game
Yeah,
outside.
standard option. Alright, after this round, we'll be streaming for yeah, looking forward to that. So playing Gila would be about 10 points, taking it to 391. But unfortunately, she would have
Yes.
to
Turnover CIISA, which is 34567. That's 14 points added to,
focus.
yes,
Okay, I see Woko dropping this.
is going for a fancy end game. And
Wow.
guess what?
Right.
With perfect play from Betty, she's actually going to draw this game with that move. Oh my God. I'm sure he did not analyze this game well enough.
Exactly. Because
Because if Betty spots SAI next to Feds, that scores 24 points. And if he goes for his highest move of oil next to the O in fluid, that scores just 6 points. And when you add, subtract, and all, the game is going to end 413 to 413. So all Betty has to do right now is just spot SAI. That's the only move that draws. But unfortunately, with the time pressure, she's unable to see it, and she just plays Celia instead.
that would have taken a very interesting turn.
So 17 points.
All right, now he ends the game with LIZELGI to win the game. What an interesting game it has been. It was pretty close from the start
Exactly.
into the end game. I think the turning point was committing to Tensa.
For 1-8.
It did not score well enough. It's closed the board a bit. I think her going for maybe Zanes at that point or something would have scored a lot higher, and there'll still be a lot of threats for Simi to worry about. But
I think it's because of the
yeah, the shake
alternating
hands,
errors, so I thought I was
they just
ahead.
have to focus on their next game. Betsy can't beat herself up about this, and there's still 6 more games to go.
Oh, this screen.
Oh, I did not see that.
34.
Same Same
This
thing.
one gave you what?
34. Same thing.
34.
No, this wasn't there. So we did 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18, 18, 16, 34.
All right, for those tuning in, once again, this is the last chance qualifiers for the WESPAC Championship 2025 holding in Accra, Ghana. And if you're wondering, tomorrow for the main events, I promise you there are going to be major fireworks. We have news that Nigel Richards, the GOAT himself, arrived in Accra, Ghana just yesterday. Alongside him was David Webb, the England player who is an absolute legend. I've been following this man on YouTube for a couple of time now, and he plays amazingly well. And we have um, Ashan, yes, Ashan also arrived to Accra, Ghana last night. And I promise you, the World Championship this year is going to be absolutely fun, amazing, and incredible.
Yeah, definitely. Excel, who do you look forward to seeing on your stream from this World Champions that you mentioned?
Yes, I know everyone is going to go for the obvious choice, Nigel Richards. Everyone wants to see Nigel Richards. Fine, yes, Nigel Richards plays are amazing to see. But at the same time, personally, I want to see Simi Doko from Nigeria. He's one of those players who you would not see a lot in international events. Even in local events here in Nigeria, he would hardly show up. But when he does, oh my God, he plays amazingly well, wins or clinches tournaments, is currently the West African Scrabble champion, and
Yeah.
I'm sure he's looking to take over the world.
Did we?
No, you have to put last chance qualifier
Oh,
first.
okay.
Look at